Welcome to Scraplift Crafternoon, where a bunch of girls and I do a YouTube pop each week, scraplifting some talented person across the internet. This week we are scraplifting Heather, and I will link you to her video and or blog below. But let's get started. This is not 4th of July photos. I ended up cutting this or reprinting this photo here smaller because I think it's going to take too much room on my space. This flag is a flag that my husband flew for me in Afghanistan when he was deployed in 2015. And yes, I do have the actual flag here. It is folded up nice and neat in a box and stored until I can have a permanent home that doesn't get moved so often and display it. But for now, we'll just work on these pictures. I have pre-cut some things. This is a Bow Bunny pattern paper. I'm not going to do any mixed media this week. I pre-cut some stars, but I'll show you in this video where I've cut them. I'm planning on using these. These are from Buttons Galore and More. This is from when I was on their design team. And I also have some doodads that I might use. I pulled them out just in case. We'll see as we go. So I'm going to be building a flag today, and I'm going to be doing some hand stitching on it, but let's get the flag going. So I am going to cut out a few stars with my cameo. I first chose this sheet of blue cardstock. It is from a Die Cuts with a View paper pad that I bought a long time ago and tore apart, and it has been disseminated into my regular cardstock, and I use bits and pieces of it. I can tell it apart from the other cardstock that I buy because it's got a different texture and pattern. I also chose a piece of red basil cardstock to cut out the same star again. I also chose a piece of Park Lane pattern paper from their Land of the Free paper pad that I bought a couple of years ago. I've used most of this paper pad up, but I still had a sheet of this left. Was saving it for something special. It seemed like it would look really great with these photos. So I'm cutting it out, same stars as before. Here I'm going to start building my flag. This is a 6x8 piece of white cardstock. It is a scrap from doing some journaling on another layout. I also cut down some 1 inch by 8 inch stripes in red and white and a 3x3 inch blue square. I'm just going to start gluing them down. I am actually going to be stitching on this flag. I'll take the time and show you a little bit of the stitching, but I won't bore you with an hour's worth of stitching. So hopefully this doesn't drive you crazy watching me build a flag. I know it looks like I'm using the glue very sparingly, but I used very little so it would not get in the way of my stitching. Let's start stitching. So first I poke holes in all the corners of the blue square, and then I just start poking holes along the sides. There is no measuring here. I just eyeball it all the way around all 4 sides of the square. When I get finished poking the holes in the blue square, I do go ahead and poke all the holes that I want on the stripes. I kind of just put random lines of holes on each stripe, and then I get ready to start stitching, which you'll see in a few minutes. I'm going to start stitching that blue square in front of you. That's all I show you on camera. The rest of it I do off camera while watching a TV show. It takes about an hour to do the whole flag, and I didn't want to spend that whole time on screen stitching. I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like. Now I chose 3 colors. I chose the colors of the flag, red, white, and blue. I chose not to cut my floss into 3 strands. I used all 6 of the piece that I cut off. I tend to like the texture that all 6 strands bring. I know that other people only do 3 strands. I just like the texture of the 6. It's just a personal preference. There's no wrong way to do it. I'm sure you could do it with only 2 strands if that's what you prefer. Now that I've finished my flag off screen, I'm going to start working on the layout. I have put Heather's beautiful layout up in the corner so that you can see it. I'll leave it there for a few minutes so that you can get an idea of what I'm doing. This is supposed to be a scrap lift. I'm going to say this is more of a layout inspired by hers. I'm just putting the little stars. The ones that I chose are both blue and white. I didn't have enough blue and I didn't have enough white to do all of the stars on my flag in one color. In the end, you really can't tell, so it looks pretty good. I just pre-dotted all of the glue on there and just started sticking them on there. Excuse me, as I began to clean up my space a little bit. I didn't want too big of a mess. I was afraid I was going to knock those stars over, and I did not want to pick those up out of the carpet. No, thank you. Here I'm going to start messing around and playing with these stars. I just can't seem to get them where I want them to be peeking out of that top corner of my flag. I probably should have cut smaller ones. I didn't, and I wasn't going to recut them, so I just sit and play, move it around, and eventually I just glue it down. Finally got the placement where I want it, so I'm going to start gluing down this flag. You notice I'm gluing only the edges because I created a journaling tag that I'm going to tuck behind that flag, in between the flag and the stars, and I wanted to make sure that I left space for doing that. That glue is pretty strong, so I don't worry about it lifting. Once it's dry, it's dry. The pictures down, and then I begin to decide where I'm going to put my journaling tag. I had created this off camera, and I kind of move it around, checking to see where I'm going to put it. I end up putting it right where I thought I would in the beginning, at the top. I made sure that it could slide in and out even after the flag dried. You will be able to pull it in and out of the page protector in my album as well. So I've had this honor burlap title piece for a long time. It's from Little Davis Designs. That's an oldie but a goodie. It was a set of 3. I had 2 different sets. This is the second one I've used recently, and I wanted to make sure I put it on this layout. I had these really old glitter, bright blue, thicker type letters. They're not thickers. I don't remember what brand they are, to be honest. But I wanted to use these on this layout. I was really trying to use them up before our move. I'm not going to make it because I don't see myself creating another layout in this color this month. We'll see. So after looking at the layout, I really decided that it didn't need a whole lot more embellishment, so I just left it with what I had. But in the end, I did decide that I was going to go back in and bring in some mixed media. It's just some simple splatters with some white Delusions spray. This is one of my favorite sprays right now. It shows up really well, especially on darker colored cardstocks, and I just sprinkle it all over the place. I covered up my photos and making sure that I didn't get my photos all dotted. And I really, really, really like it a lot. I'm going to show you the close-ups of this layout. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I pulled the tag out so that you can see that it moves. I'm bringing it closer to the camera. There will be a photo of it at the end that will also show you the close-ups. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. Have a great Sunday.